Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, so if you're entertained, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. So, a year ago, I created my YouTube channel, and it has been such a great time, and I really wanted to take some time to reflect and go over some analytics because I find that stuff interesting, the behind the scenes, and I hope that you do too. So, the reason why I created this channel was I was having some weird financial situations and I was researching high income ETFs. And between the stress of that and retire on dividends, saying, hey, if you want to get into the high income, not to me specifically, he had a car YouTube video where he was just like, anyone that wants to get into high income ETFs, there's a lot of hype in this space and you'll really grow. So I took that advice and I wanted to avoid being seen as a authority figure. I didn't want to sit here and tell you why I was qualified to tell you what I have to say. So I chose the name Bad Financial Decisions. That way I could just talk about my own experience without first having to justify my position. But that kind of backfired, I think, maybe just a little bit. But we're all having fun together, so there's that. So my very first video on this channel was signing up for Robinhood is a bad financial decision. And I used Mark from Retire on Dividends channel, his affiliate link. So we both got some bonus stocks, but I didn't even put money in to begin with. I don't even remember how much money I had back then. It was probably like the $20,000 or something like that. So it wasn't very much money. So I went through my logic for choosing Robinhood in the first place. And the truth is, with brokerage accounts, it just depends on what features you're looking to use and if you like their interface, because they all do the same things. If you're just buying and holding an ETF, they can all accomplish that. But if you want to use margin, then Robinhood has a good margin rates, and they're also reasonable with how much they charge per contract for options. So that's why I stuck with Robinhood. Am I happy with Robinhood? Well, lately they have my margin still up for Misty, but it's only like 5% of my portfolio. So I know that some people do have their margin less. Like, I just think that they should lower my Misty margin maintenance. I would be super happy with that. But other than that, I still don't think that Robinhood is anyone's friend. Like, they're not the retail investor's friend. They don't have your best interest in mind. They want you to be engaged in their app and spend as much money as possible with them. So they will allow you to do whatever you want, which is what I wanted, but they you need to have your own risk mitigation and just be very cognizant of what you're doing. That way you don't lose all of your money. But yes, Robinhood's been pretty good. I was pretty happy that I ran across Retire on Dividends, and I've been in his Discord and he's been checking up on me, and he's the one that invited me. Well, he told YieldMax to invite me to New York. So it's been really exciting, honestly. I went from 0 views, like a very new, literally a new channel, to participating in closing the NASDAQ within 1 year. So it's been a wild ride, and I really do appreciate that. And I still like AIPI. I was in it. It wasn't on inception date, but it was before the first distribution because there was like 2 months they didn't pay anything. And I got out of it eventually. And then, wow, Yield Boost is a bad financial decision. I just interviewed Will Rind. So it's leveraged. So we got that. And then I still have this opinion of people think about the dollar amount of their shares too much, where maybe we should be focusing on share count instead. It would be healthier because, like, no one says, like, oh, I have $50,000 in Bitcoin. No, they say, like, I have a Bitcoin or half a Bitcoin. So, yeah, it's been really fun. And I mean, I still haven't figured out hedging. And yeah, so let's go into some analytics. So I got monetized in December. So far, I've gotten $1,418. But right now, my RPM is $5.20. And that is variable because I'm pretty sure at one point it was $13 RPM. So I will let you know, I guess, this winter when people are very excited about Christmas shopping and stuff. Does this get higher? Because the higher your RPM is, the less views that you need in order to make a decent amount of money from YouTube. But I'm actually really happy because I set the goal of $200 from YouTube for 3 months in a row. And then on the fourth month, I will look into getting a food delivery service because I live in the countryside and I don't get a variety of food. And I think that I don't want to say I deserve it, but it would be nice to have some kind of a luxury based off of my earnings on YouTube. That's what I want to spend this money on. Anyways, for my audience, I see that a lot of you are on around 6 p.m., which makes sense because basically my entire like everybody here is an adult. So that's great. So I think I might experiment with actually publishing my videos later in the day, like around 6, because YouTube's algorithm really likes it when people click on it right away and interact with it right away, and it actually recommends it to more people. So it's worth it to experiment. So just don't be surprised if next week I start to publish around 6 p.m. That way, and most of my stuff is not time sensitive to the market anyways. So I think that I'm going to try it and we'll see how that works out for me. And if you're wondering what types of videos do the best for me, well, my number one video right now is about Ulti, but you all really love my Misty prediction videos and I love making them, and I'll make one tomorrow. And then the how much I made at the end of the month. So I'll continue to do that. Usually I say the weekend before the last day of the month, but because the last day of the month is next Thursday, I'll just do it next weekend. So about YieldMight, this is something that I've made with you all over, well, I've made it and I've presented it. We've been using this together. And so how this works is if you have $1,000 that you want to invest, this is the amount that you would get weekly, monthly, or annually based off of buying $1,000 worth of these shares. And you can use the filters. If you say, like, I only want to do curve investments, then you can see and you can compare these together. So then how are we doing with this? Well, I've had, okay, so I have 2,500 active users. And then if we look here, in the last 12 months, I've had 21,000 visitors from the United States and 2,000 visitors from Canada, and then some from everywhere else in the world. So yesterday, someone in my comment section said, I love YieldMight, but I really wish that we had a Canadian version. And my initial reaction was to buy a .ca domain and just give you all your Canadian versions. But in order to purchase a CA, domain, you have to be a Canadian entity. So I would have to like form a business and then figure out how to have like a satellite company that I'm affiliated with. And so I almost reached out to Mike from Wealth and Health, Health and Wealth. Sorry. Mike, and was like, "You're Canadian, you want to just purchase this domain and let me use it?" But what I wound up doing is I made some back-end changes in YieldMight.com, and I haven't implemented on the front end yet. But I can add a filter for US and other country stocks. So you can basically click a check mark and include the ones from different countries. So, if you look in the description of my video now, you can see that there is a Google form, and I know that you all are very engaged, and everyone is always finding these new high income ETFs that are out, and I'm still trying to focus on automating YieldMight so that it doesn't become overwhelming to me. But this is just a way that if you find a new high income ETF, something that you want in YieldMight, you can fill out this form. I'm not promising that I will add it to YieldMight quickly, but it always helps when I'm aware of these things so that I can keep tabs on what I need to add to it to keep it relevant. And then you can see that it has, is this available to buy yet? So if you just load like the SEC filing, I can put it into YieldMight. It won't show up yet until it has its first distribution, or at least when I record the first distribution. But you can also say what country it's available in. If you don't put anything, I'll just assume it's a US-based one. So thank you all for helping me stay informed and keeping YieldMight up to date with things. And also, YieldMight is free to use. There's no subscription, there's no logging in, but you all have been very, very, very generous over the last year, and I super appreciate it. We've got, $288 for the last 30 days, and I am ecstatic. This is great. And it does cost me a little bit of money to host this website, so I'm really grateful, and I'm looking into adding new tools or new APIs that'll help me with new features. So those will also cost money. So I'm really grateful for you all that have donated and left kind messages to me. And I do appreciate you all. And today in Financial Philharmonics, we have FU money. And at work on Friday, we had a happy hour, and the theme was, what music do you listen to? And I talked about how I make my own AI music, and they asked for my YouTube channel. And so maybe auto-scheduling this particular song on the day that I shared this with my coworkers was probably not the best move, honestly. Especially since it's like my boss and my manager and everything. So someday FU money will be true. It's not today, but I made it when I thought I was going to be laid off for a while, so I was boosting my own spirits. It's a country song. I think it's catchy and cute. I just think that I have awful timing. So anyways, I am really grateful that you all have stuck with me. And did I tell you that my condo is now under contract again? Yes. On Friday, July 25th, 2025, my condo is now under contract for, this will be the fourth buyer. Sorry, this is the fifth buyer. 5 times. This is the 5th time it's been under contract to be sold, and it is my 6th attempt. The 3rd buyer, the one that I actually started my YouTube channel and it was in the middle of, that one, I had applied for a short sale. The short sale got denied, but then Ethereum had a run up, so I sold my Ethereum, So we made a second attempt with that third buyer, but then I had the fourth one that fell through. And so we're on the fifth and hopefully final attempt to sell my condo. And I will do an entire other video about that because it's a lot. Anyways, what if you could have just one YieldMax ETF for the rest of your life? What would that be? I'll put a link to Marcos asked us in New York that, and I just saw that YouTube video, so I'm curious, which one would you want? And I'll talk to you later. Bye.